Children don't choose their parents, so how can kids survive when their parents are less than ideal? Attorney Bud Klueck and Dr. Kenner are here to weigh in, and we'll visit about that exact thing. We've gone now from Charger tailgating to food at the Grove, and now we're going into unhealthy parents. So first, Dr. Kenner, let's talk with you, Keith, about that, unhealthy parents. What do kids do?
Well, you know, it's one of those things, Joe, that you can't pick your parents, and so what you're born with. And with unhealthy parents, it's a tough one because it's something that can have a real developmental impact and emotional impact on kids.
Now, when we say unhealthy parents, let's be a little more specific for me here.
Specifically say parents who have some pretty significant psychological problems, whether they're very, very depressed or very, very anxious or have real personality disorders, and the effect that that can have on children, because children really look to their parents to identify and take in characteristics of them, that oftentimes that can really impact negatively on their development.
Right. This is not uncommon.
No, it's very common. It's not as common as one would think. About 10% of parents have very, very serious problems. But the 10% can be very significant. Now, it outweighs a little bit. If you have an intact family and you have a healthy parent and an unhealthy parent, oftentimes the effects of the healthy parent will compensate for what happens with the unhealthy parent. So it's not all lost. If you've got one healthy parent, then oftentimes that really can help children. But in a divorce situation, it's different, because oftentimes one of the reasons why people get divorced is because of pathology that's in a parent who didn't get help. And then you've got a problem, because then you've got the child spending time with a parent who has significant problems and the other parent doesn't have much control over that. That's where we have a problem, because then the child is really in a position where there's not a whole lot they can do as a child to get their parent help, other than saying, Mom or Dad, this is frightening me and you need to get some help. So that's where it gets really complicated.
All right. And this is noticeable. Probably by, and that's a point there, noticeable by neighbors, by other family members, and perhaps they need to step up and do something about that.
That helps. Importantly, though, depending upon the child, in some cases, you've got kids who will be more affected than others. There's a population of kids that we would call invulnerable, who, despite what goes on around them, they tend to persevere. We see that happen. Kids who come from families that you would think, oh my gosh, how can they possibly be normal kids? And they are. And you go, why?
They grew up in spite of their parents. What, did they set up a defense mechanism of some sort?
It's interesting. A lot of that we really look as being genetically based. That they got good genes. I mean, they've really got a way of responding to things and manage things irrespective of what goes on. And that's a population that's really nice to have. But some kids aren't so fortunate. And again, kids will then respond and develop based on what's around them.
All right, in a divorce situation, okay, the legal side of it, but let's talk about that. What happens? How do you deal with that?
Well, there's two principles to understand about the way the court system reacts to this, Joe. Number one is that the code is clear, the family code is clear, that the number one priority of state government is the protection of children. And the other thing to understand is that the court system is kind of like church in the sense that it's very remedial. If you acknowledge that there's a problem, they want to steer you towards the resources to help you get better.
So the court system, they're going to steer you toward Dr. Kenner.
Yes, one of the elements, it would be counseling. In fact, there's a specific code section there as well that permits the judge to order a parent into counseling for up to a year. Additionally, Family Court Services, the mediation component of court, very often recommends individualized therapy or counseling, and if the judge adopts those recommendations, and they become court orders, and obviously the parties have to do that.
Well, wow, so in a divorce case, this can actually serve to help get the family and children some help.
Yep. Yes, they can also order that the children go into therapy as well. Additional helps would be parenting classes. They're very widely available. Most of the community colleges have parenting classes available. A lot of the high school districts and their adult ed components do. And also the WISE, YM, or YWCA have that as well as individualized or private parenting classes. So they're widely available, and I would recommend somebody Google or Yahoo parenting classes San Diego, California, and there's lots of opportunities in that regard.
Yeah, plenty of resources available to you. And the Law and Mediation Offices of Garrison, Klueck, you see it there on your screen, so you can call Bud, you know.
Good resource.
Even if you
Bud's
have...
the man.
I'm sorry?
Bud's the man.
Bud is the man. Bud's the man.
I call Bud all the time with legal questions, and he's really great.
And call and ask some advice if you know of any family like this, or if you are in that family, all right? Family Law SanDiego.com.
One of our other attorneys that work with us, in fact, their undergraduate major at San Diego State, and they won several awards doing that, is in fact in child development. And we recruited them specifically for that reason to work on these kinds of issues.
All right. Thank you. You guys are so much help.
I got a present for you and Chrissy.
You got a present?
Yeah. Okay, here's the secret. Secret. Come on, Chrissy. Secret. Charger success.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it.
All right, you ready? All right, here it is.
Bring it out.
Now I'm sharing. I'm leaving this with you guys. This is my Charger good luck charm.
Oh, it's
now,
Mr.
This is the bolt. This is the bolt.
Mr. Bolt.
And I carry this with me during playoff times, and it worked. I carried it with me last game. So I'm actually going to leave this with you.
Leave it with us.
All right.
I'm going to leave it with you guys, and you have to rub it 3 times a day.
Take
it. Okay.
You're sure hanging on to it for leaving.
You know.
There's Bolt Man.
There it
right
is.
There.
So we're going to leave it here,
on top.
and Fox 6 is going to wish the Chargers the best on Sunday, and go get them.
Well, I didn't wear mine, but I have actually Mardi Gras beads with a bolt on it, blue and gold Mardi Gras beads. So that's what I wear.
All right.
What'd you do to get them, bud?
All right.
Chrissy,
oh,
let's
come on, you know I was going to say that. What?
Choo-choo us for a while.
Choo-choo!
All right.